Now, a lot of you might agree with the statement that Dragon Quest I is a little bit more difficult than Dragon Quest II when it comes to the HD-2D remake, and I'm currently playing through Draconian mode in Dragon Quest I, and I would have to agree. So in today's video, we're going to go over some useful items that you can get in the early game that should be able to balance this out a little bit. It's helped me out considerably during my Draconian run, so I'm hoping it will help a lot of people out that might be coming to the game brand new. So I hope you can join me for this one. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Got your code timestamp, so if you want to skip to a certain item in this list, feel free to do so. All I ask is just to support the channel, hit the like button because it helps out a lot, and if you want to stick around for some more Dragon Quest content, then you're already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. Now I've already made a video on how to get the best start in both Dragon Quest 1 and 2, so if you want to watch that first before you dive into this video, feel free to do that. But let's dive into some of these items that you can grab in Dragon Quest 1. And we're going to break this up into sections. Now when I say the early game, I'm going to cover all the way up to, I don't know, around the Cave of Dwarves, which is quite early on, but there is a considerable amount of items that you can get. There are also items that you can get in the late game, and if you want a video for that, let me know. We're going to go over these early game items. So a lot of these are going to be obtained on the world map via secret spots and sparkly spots, but we're going to go over a couple of items that you can get in towns. And first we're going to start off with the prayer ring. Now the prayer ring can be a useful item if you are lucky. Sometimes you may use this item and it will break straight away, but what this item does is it replenishes MP. So if you are playing a Draconian mode or you haven't got enough elixirs to replenish that MP, then a prayer ring is probably your go-to, and you can get this in the Shrine of Rain at this location. It is hidden, but it could be an item that could really help you out in some of those dungeons where you'd need to replenish your MP if you're someone that uses magic quite a bit. Next up, we have an item that is required for the story, but you can grab it as early as you get to the town, and that is the fairy flute. Now the fairy flute is quite a good item. It will be quite useful for a certain boss battle, but it could be quite useful in general if you don't want to use any MP, because what the fairy flute can do is it can send enemies to sleep, and you can grab this just a little bit south of the hot springs in Kol. Next up, we have some scrolls that you don't want to miss because they will help you out with your strategy in battle. And we're going to start off with the earliest dungeon you're going to come across is Erdrick's Hollow. A majority of you are probably going to find this scroll quite naturally, but you'd be surprised, people can miss this. And this is the Sandstorm Scroll. Why is this important? Because Sandstorm can blind enemies. Combine that with your dodgy dance and with another item that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the video, then you're going to have a little bit of flexibility to do some turns without having to worry about getting hit. So don't forget the Sandstorm Scroll. The next two scrolls and the final scrolls we're going to talk about, you'll be finding in the Craggy Cave. The first one is Nose for Treasure. This is going to help you out when you start treasure hunting on your own and want to see if you've grabbed every single treasure in an area. So don't forget to pick up that one because it's going to help you out considerably as you clean up the end game. And the next one is Muster Strength. Now, I know that we are the solo hero and turns can be quite precious, but if you can get yourself in a position using what we've previously talked about, like Dodgy Dance and Sandstorm, you'll have time to use Muster Strength to then muster that strength to get a nice powerful hit on your next turn to hopefully give you a little bit of an edge on battle. You might not want to use it, but it's helped me out in a few situations, so Muster Strength is definitely something to consider. Next up, we have a couple of items that are only accessible once you have the Thieves' Key. I still class this as early game because you do get the Thieves' Key quite early on in the story. The first one is going back to the inn in Tantagel, and this will give you access to the Rousing Ring. Now, I'm currently in an ongoing battle with a canny box that I am determined to defeat. As you know, the canny boxes, especially in Draconian, can hit hard and they can send you to sleep. The Rousing Ring allows you to have a nice defense boost and be resistant to a certain degree from getting put to sleep. So I'm putting this in as a useful item for those that keep getting hit by those status elements that really can cost you a turn and probably get you a game over. And the last one, which I think is probably the most important, especially if you're playing on Draconian, because everything is just minimized in what you collect, especially gold and experience. And this is the Aravist Vest, because this allows your gold intake to be a little bit bigger than it usually would be. And since we're not going over any items that you can collect from shops, because some of them can be quite expensive, this is a perfect item to equip while you're just doing a general grind against fodder enemies to get more gold a lot faster. I wouldn't advise using it as you're going into dungeons and going against bosses. Just be sure to equip this when you are doing a little bit of the grind. And you can grab this in Galenholm once you've got the Thieves' Key, and it's in this chest just over here. The next couple of items can all be found on the world map via secret spots or sparkly spots, and some of these are definitely going to give you the edge and an advantage in battle. And we're starting off with something that's helped me out considerably, combining it with Sandstorm and Dodgy Dance. That is the Cloak of Evasion. You can grab this at a secret spot at the south of the fairy village. Honestly, if you want to try and maneuver your way to that part of the map as soon as you can to grab it, you can if you get lucky with escaping battles, but it's definitely gonna help you out because it gives you an increased dodge chance. Not that it works all the time, but it can work in the greatest situations and flip the situation around so you have the advantage. Now this next item comes along with a other item that is very useful again if you are going for a general grind. So there is a secret spot south of the Quagmire Cave once you've gone all the way through it, and you can find yourself a Garish Garb, which gives you a considerable defense boost, so it's worthwhile equipping maybe if you are doing the grind and not too fussed about evasion at the time. And the most important item here is the Edged Boomerang, because this is a more powerful version of the boomerang that you may find in one of the dungeons a little bit early on in the game, but this is going to help you considerably, combining it with that Aristavest that we talked about earlier to make sure that you're getting the experience and the gold you need without having to hunt down any metal slimes, as we are still talking about the early game. Now there's two more items I want to talk about, but these are risky because you need to go south of Damdara, and if you are pretty early on in the game like we're speaking about here and you get very unlucky with your encounters, you're more than likely going to get a death here. But if you want to venture out just a little bit south of it, you will find a secret spot which will contain the Stealth Suit, which is much like the Cloak of Evasion, but of course with a better defense stat. And there is also a sparkly spot south in Damdara with the Agility Ring. This will more than likely guarantee you the first turn of battle each time you use an attack, which again will work in your favor against bosses if you need to trigger a Dodgy Dance or you need to use a status element on an enemy. It's helped me out as I've been going through this game. Now, a lot of this you might have already known, which is fine, but these are for the newer players, or maybe they're items that you don't have in your inventory yet, and you're thinking, oh, well, where do I grab this? These will definitely help you out in the early game. Combine that with the video that I made on the best start you can get in Dragon Quest I, you should hopefully have smoother sailing even in Draconian mode. So I appreciate your time. I'm hoping it helped you out. Let me know if I've missed anything or if you want to throw any tips down below. And until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.